Okay, guys, just a quick video on how to get your resistors out, guys. See this little guy right in here? I've already gotten a bunch out of this board. As you can maybe able to tell, there was a ton of spaces on here where I could take resistors, and I have taken from all of them. So let's take the torch and make sure that's on. And we're just going to get to it. We've got the soldering iron really, really hot. You're going to need a couple pieces of equipment to get your resistors. Here they are. You need your pick with a sharp end. You could use a clothespin. You could use other things. You could just use the pliers. But ones like this that are so hard to grab with the pliers, this is what the pick is for, guys. You take it, you slide it underneath. I'm just going to turn this on its side, reach for the back of it where I believe that to be, and look at that, I'm right. Now we're going to take this. You want to gently first actually turn the wire up so that you have a method to grab it. Now you want to gently, gently, gently grab it in such a way as you can put some pressure on it, guys. And now we're just going to pop that right out, okay? You can see that's come out nice and clean and easy. So we could move on and take every single resistor out of this board, you guys, if we needed it. But we really don't need to. I will show you it again, just for ease of use. I've already got one started here, and this is of a type that it's actually pretty useful. So we're going to remove it. And as you can see, voila, it is removed. Okay? It's really, really fast and easy. Now, for your capacitor battery, I'm going to cover in this video also the best way to get your capacitor set up, guys. Because we've got these guys. Okay? We've got these guys. And in this guy's case, it actually has some pieces that I want here, guys. So we're going to take those out, and I will show you that right quick. So what we're going to do is with this one, we're not actually going to use the pliers or the pick, you guys, because I can see where the back of this is, and I want to be able to feel with my fingers if this should heat up substantially. I do not want to be heating up my capacitors, but I do want to wiggle them back and forth while heating them. While I'm heating the left one, I'm pulling a little bit on the left side. Now I'm going to heat them both and just continue to do so until I work the capacitor out. Voila, here is my capacitor, undamaged. And I know that because I had my fingers on it the whole time. It was nice and gentle. I also know that these capacitors are discharged, guys. Before you go removing capacitors, you want to cross the back of them. You could even do it with your soldering gun if you really wanted to. Not that I highly recommend that. So once again, we're just at the back of these wires, guys. And we're going to be putting pressure back and forth. You see that? Now we move to the other one. And we're going to just put pressure on it. And continue to wiggle it back and forth while now I put it on both ends. And that'll get it out the final way. And there's our capacitor, guys. There's our second one. Now for this setup, we're actually going to need a lot more than that. So we're going to go after this guy right here. Okay? That big brown one. And it matches exactly the other two. And I will show you the specs on those in a minute. So we're going to take this. It's hard for me to show you guys while I do this all the time, but I do my best. Mostly because I'm doing this while it's on my lap. It makes it really awkward. Now you notice that came free right away. And this one's being a bit of a pain. It's actually because it's harder for me to do that one with the wire bent the way it is on there, but that's okay. It'll straighten itself as I pull it through. So we're just going to make that happen now. Go to both sides and just start working it back and forth, guys, until it comes free. You don't want to leave your soldering iron all the time, and if you have to, you can push your soldering iron into the tip like that, and there we go. There's our three. Now all I did there was take the soldering iron into the hole and push it right in. And if you can see this hole right here, I'm about to push it right in. Okay, you see that? This one as well. I can just heat it up and push it right in because there's a hole in the circuit board, you guys. So that allows you to force it out. Now, there's a whole bunch more useful ones on here that are all 16 volt, guys. And since we are going to be making a 16 volt setup, you might think I'm going to need those, but I don't, because I already have powerful enough ones to do the job. So I'm going to unplug the soldering setup. I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to take the cell phone out. And I'm going to put this whole thing aside. Now I've got a handy dandy workstation here that allows me to set this aside in a very safe fashion, you guys. As long as I can keep this standing straight up. And we go like that. Now, normally I have this up here, but it locks itself in here. So I've got it set up so once I set it in, it's locked in pretty solid and it's not really going anywhere. That makes it really handy for me. And that way I can just take this and throw it over and not worry about it. Now, we've got a whole bunch of places, guys, that we can get capacitors here. And you can see these are also 16 volt. So, I'm going to take a couple of these while my soldering iron is still hot. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so even after my soldering iron was unplugged, I was able to retrieve all three of these. You can see this one. And let's just take a look at the specs here. This stripe, as I pointed out before, always represents negative on these guys. 470 UF at 16 volt, okay? And I got three of them that are identical. We're going to take a look at some of the other ones that were available to me and discuss why we're not going to use them. No, not really. There's no point in that. We could discuss it, but we're not using anything 100 volt. These are because we might be running as much as 14 volts, and we're going to do a 16 volt system. One of my bikes will be running right around 14 volts. One of them will be running right around 9 volts. And the other one will be running right around 24 volts, guys. 25 volts. So I've got a variety of setups coming. You'll see them all. I'm going to build a different setup for each bike. Here's one right here, 35 volt, ready to go. And for now, I'm going to show you what is going to become my 16 volt setup here. If you give me a second, pull this out. And I will put these over here. I also grabbed some really great ones in terms of these guys. Now, you saw me grab the three brown ones here at the beginning of that, except that the video cut out. And this is what I originally started taking out and going after in this particular video. 16 volt, 1000 UF, okay? And I got three of those. We're going to take the three of those and the three of these and make a wicked capacitor bank out of them, okay? Now, in addition to these ones, in here, if you look, I have ones at 25 volt, okay? I have a little collection at 25 volt. I have a collection at 10 volt. I have a bunch at 16 volt, okay, that are 470. That's these guys. So I'm going to use those. So I've got a whole bunch of 470s. That's 5 in a row. And then I've got the three 1000s. Now, how this is going to lay out will be just like in the other capacitor battery. I highly recommend you guys watch it. Because there's no point in me doing a different video on how to make the same device for each set. But know that I'm selecting these based on the voltage that I expect to be in the system. These ones are all 16 volt. The size doesn't so much matter as long as you lay them out in the right order. It's the voltage, guys. That being said, we're going to end this one. I've showed you how to retrieve these parts that you're going to need. These are the few electrical components you're going to need. They can all be recovered for free, guys, right out of the garbage without any trouble. No dumpster diving. Just pick up a cable box and walk away and take it apart. And the only thing I'm not showing you guys how to do is take the screws out. Keith out.